Today, I'm going to say nice things about every single NBA team in the league, including your favorite team. So I'm going to get right into it, starting with the Atlanta Hawks. Now, this is going to be in alphabetical order. If you want to skip ahead, feel free. Just like, comment, and subscribe so it kind of counteracts that. Please and thank you. The Atlanta Hawks had one of the best offseason I had seen in a while, and I think that Nah is going to be amazing for the team. I'm going to throw up some stats for Nickeil Alexander-Walker, for Rishase, and for Dyson Daniels. I think that all of these players coming back to play on the same court, Nah coming as a first-time player for the Hawks, I think it'll be huge. I think that they have a chance to make the championship, and I would not put it past them to win it. The Boston Celtics are one of the most intriguing teams in the league. I think that this gap year is going to prove to be a blessing in disguise. I think that Jason Tatum will come back pretty comparable to how he was, and I think that without Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown will grow into a pretty complete player. Not that he already isn't, but I think he'll look even better. I think Pritchard in a bigger role would be amazing to see, and I wonder what his potential is going to look like throughout the season. Moving on to the Brooklyn Nets, I think that this team is going to be very, very fun to watch. Even though they won't win a lot of games, I think that seeing who will fit on this team in the long run is going to be very, very fun to watch. I think seeing Danny Wolf on an NBA court is going to be amazing to see, and I think seeing MPJ in a bigger role will be so much fun because we all know how good he was coming out of high school. I want to see if he can kind of turn into a more complete player. For the Charlotte Hornets, I'm really excited to see what Con Knipple looks like on an NBA court. I think he's a very polished player, as we saw in the Summer League. I think Brandon Miller will remind people how good he actually is, and I think LaMelo will sadly miss some time again. But I think that Colin Sexton as a piece to help kind of combat the time that LaMelo misses is a amazing pickup. I don't want this video to be too long, so if I kind of go over some teams shortly, just know that I'm going to probably be making a full video on them very soon here. Now on to the Bulls. I think the Bulls were a fun watch at the end of the season, which is kind of all you can ask for compared to their last previous seasons. And I think Matas Buzelis is a human highlight reel. I think Josh Giddey also will probably have a very, very interesting season. And depending on the contract they give him, I think that he's going to be very, very valuable. Also a player that I'm probably going to make a video on here, Yuki Kawamura. I think I'm saying his full name correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's one of my favorite players. I'm pretty short myself, so I can kind of relate a lot to his game, and I will always root for a guy who's under 5'10". For the Cleveland Cavaliers, I don't have much to say. They were dominant last regular season. I think they'll be dominant again. Obviously one of the most fun teams to watch in the NBA, and I think Lonzo Ball being an addition for this team is going to make this team even better than they already are. I think Donovan Mitchell is one of the most underrated players for the regular season. I feel like he does get talked about a good amount, but he doesn't get talked about enough for how fun he is to watch. Moving on to the Dallas Mavericks, I mean, Cooper Flagg is on this team. It's going to be an amazing watch no matter what happens. And if Kyrie comes back, I think people will probably momentarily forget that they made one of the worst ever trades as a franchise. Again, I'm saying nice things about this team, so I really like their offseason. I think that Cooper is an amazing consolation prize that nobody expected, and I think that getting Anthony Davis and Cooper Flagg is honestly not that bad. I don't know if they meant to get Cooper Flagg, but also watch out for Max Christie. I think that he could really be a good NBA player for this team. Denver Nuggets fans, you know what I'm going to say. You have Jokic, dude. You guys are so lucky. You guys are going to always have fun as long as this guy is on your team. And I think that him having a great team around him again is scary. I think that another MVP season might be loading. And I think that Cam Johnson and Tim Hardaway are very, very good pickups along with Bruce Brown. Hopefully he can return back to form as he looked great with Nikola Jokic last time. The Detroit Pistons, I'm not going to talk about. You guys, I'm going to make a whole video. This is my favorite team in the league. Cade Cunningham is my favorite player in the league. I think he should be everyone's favorite player, so I'm not going to talk about them. Just know I could say nice things about them for an hour. The Golden State Warriors have Steph Curry. What else do you want me to say? They have Jimmy Butler. They have Draymond Green. They have some pretty good young pieces. I think Pat Spencer's on this team still. I really liked watching him last season. This team is probably in my top 5 watched teams for this entire season, so I implore you guys to do the same thing. We're going to lose these players to retirement pretty soon here, so enjoy it while you can. The Houston Rockets are going to be amazing next season. This is going to be also in my top 5 watched teams. I think Kevin Durant is going to look amazing on this team. I think Amin is going to look even better. I think Şengün is going to increase his 3-ball percentage. I think he's going to make a lot more of them. I think he's going to take a lot more of them. So I'm really, really excited to see where he goes with that. I think this team's always going to be a really fun watch because of how good their defense is, but this team's going to be so much better offensively next season. It's crazy. Just like the Boston Celtics, I think the Indiana Pacers taking a gap here is going to be very, very interesting to watch. I think that there is some stuff you guys can look forward to other than the draft pick. I think Mathurin, Neesmith, Shepard, I think they can all really show how much they're worth, and I think that Jay Huff isn't a bad pickup for this team at all. I think Pascal Siakam as a first option is going to be amazing to watch. I still think that this team can compete. I don't know if they're going to try towards the end of the season. The Los Angeles Clippers, I mean, they might be the most exciting team in the league. I think they're going to be in my top 5 as well of most watched. This team's defense is so good, and adding Bradley Beal to this team, I think is not talked about enough. I think that he's going to be such a good pickup for this squad. His contract was so bad. I think he's so much better than a lot of people think he is because of that contract. I mean, he's making, what, $11 million a year, $18 million a year. He's going to be amazing. And Kawhi is always a really fun player to watch. Say what you want about Harden. I think he's also a very fun player to watch. I watched him live last season, and I can tell you, he dropped 50 on my favorite team. The Los Angeles Lakers are the Lakers. They have LeBron James, they have Luka Doncic, but I'm kind of really interested in where DeAndre Ayton goes this season. I think he can be a really valuable piece. His contract is amazing for what he brings to the table. I think that him being in the spotlight will help his motor a lot, and I think that he'll show the entire league how good he actually is. I think people have been very, very hard on him recently, and it's kind of for a fair point. He hasn't been trying that hard, but I think he definitely will because everyone seems to try hard in Los Angeles. For the Memphis Grizzlies, I think that JJJ is a top 15 player in the league. I think no Desmond Bane will hurt, but I think Ty Jerome is a really fun pickup. I don't really know what this team's going for this season, but I mean, you have Ja Morant, you have JJJ, you have Ty Jerome, you have Gigi Jackson, Zach Edey. All these players are really, really fun to watch, and I think it'll be a great watch no matter what they do. Team's always going to be fun to watch as long as Eric Spoelstra is coaching it. I think that Bam should have a bounce back here, and I think that the addition of Norman Powell is really, really fun. I don't know where they're going to go. They definitely have a chance to make some noise in the East. It's a little bit weak. And I think that Tyler Hero might be very, very motivated this offseason, so we should see what happens. This team has a lot less drama than they had last season, so hopefully that takes them somewhere. On to the Bucks. I think Giannis is always a really fun player. I mean, he is like a top 3 player in the league, top 2 maybe if you're thinking about it. And I think that maybe Kyle Kuzma will whip into shape. I think they could definitely still make some noise in the East, as you'll probably see. I'm probably going to make a standings predictions video very soon here. Drama aside, this team doesn't look too bad. They still should win a lot of games, don't get me wrong. The Timberwolves have Anthony Edwards. They're going to be a fun watch no matter what. It seems like he always gets better no matter how good he gets. He'll always be better. With Mike Conley getting older, I think that he really needs to work on his playmaking. Hopefully it increases. If it does, I think this team's going to be amazing. Julius Randle looked really, really good in the playoffs, so we're going to see how this team looks in this regular season. I think they have a chance to make one of the top seeds. New Orleans Pelicans are going to be a fun watch no matter what happens. Zion's on the team, Jordan Poole's on the team. I think those 2 players alone will just have a lot of great moments. New York is one of the best teams in the league. They're probably going to be one of the best teams in the East, maybe the best team, we don't know. The new coach is going to make the offense look so much better. Mike Brown is so much better than people think he is, and I think that it'll kind of revolutionize how this team flows. Seeing people like OG and McHale get the ball more, I think will make this team feel a lot less stagnant than it was last year, so let's hope that it makes the offense run a lot smoother. OKC were the champions this year. There's not much I can say that you don't already know. But one thing I want to point out is Nikola Topic hasn't played a single game for this team. We're going to really see how good he is. He was a top 5 overall draft before he got injured. So let's see how he looks. Let's hope that this ACL tear didn't inhibit him too much. And hopefully he's what Josh Giddey should have been for this team. The Orlando Magic are going to be amazing. I think Desmond Bane adds so much to this team. I don't think it was an overpay. I think it was a great, great move, and I think this team will make so much noise in the Eastern Conference. I feel like they haven't gotten the respect they deserve. I feel like a lot of people still don't really think of them as a contender, and I think that that move will put them over that hump. I think that some of the moves they made as well around the margins will help them a lot. I think Paolo and Wagner being healthy will just remind us how good this team actually is. Again, one of the most exciting teams to watch. I think I'm going to watch 100 games of them next season. For the 76ers, here's a few positive things I can think of. Embiid might be back next season. He's always really fun to watch. If he doesn't, McCain's coming back. He's amazing. He's such a positive dude. It's impossible for me not to root for him. Maxey's also very fun to watch. And VJ Edgecombe looks like a star in the making. I think it was a great draft pick. I think they got really lucky keeping their pick last season. I think it'll prove to be very, very useful in the future. There were two teams that were very, very hard to write nice things about. And one of them was the Phoenix Suns. I mean, they have Devin Booker, Jalen Green, and Mark Williams. If they can be consistent and if they can be on the court a lot, they should be really, really motivated, and they should look the best they've ever looked. I'm rooting for Mark Williams after that fake trade that didn't go through. I feel really, really bad for him. Portland Trailblazers, I think they're going to be great. I think Dame being back and him kind of being an assistant coach this season is a great story. And this team's kind of on the rise. I think that there might be a Piston-esque run for them, going up from like 20 games, 30 games to maybe 45 wins. Young Hansen, is that his name? Young Hansen is also so much fun to watch. I'm going to put up some clips for the rest of this little segment here. His passes in the Summer League were amazing. I'm excited. I loved that draft pick for them. I love that he came out of the rafters. I could talk about it for hours. The Sacramento Kings were another team that I was talking about. I couldn't really find nice things to say about them. I think Nick Clifford is an amazing pickup. I think he looked really, really polished. I don't know what this team's direction's going to be, but I think you'll have a fun season. I'm hoping that the front office starts to think about the future more often for its fans. And I think that this team will maybe get off of DeMar DeRozan, which is okay. I think that he's a good player, but he should kind of leave this team, make it a bit younger. We're on to the last four teams, starting with the Spurs. I mean, Wemby trained with Monks this offseason. He trained with Kevin Garnett. It's probably going to be a pretty legendary season for him. And I think that De'Aaron Fox will prove that he was worth that extension. I saw some crazy things about that extension. It is really expensive, but he's a pretty big building block. Dylan Harper at 2 is also amazing. This team amazes me. I don't know how they got that draft pick, but it was in their favor. They got Dylan Harper. They're so lucky. Toronto Raptors, I'm really high on. I haven't been seeing many people talk about them. It seems like people forgot about them. I think they're going to make a lot of noise. I think that they're going to show the entire league what they've been up to. Scotty Barnes and Ingram, I think it's a pretty good duo. I think they could definitely make the playoffs and probably skip the play-in altogether if everything goes right. I think Scotty Barnes might be a all-star again, which, I mean, that's all you can really ask for. I think that this team's going to be fun. Utah Jazz got Ace Bailey. I mean, it's a pretty good consolation prize for the whole thing that's been happening over the past few seasons where they just suck, but they don't get a good draft pick. I think Cody Williams will show that he's not as bad as he looked in his rookie year. I think Ace Bailey will be a star. I'm really hoping. Their fans deserve a lot. I think that this has been the worst team to watch over the past 3 years, and I think it'll start to look up. I think this season they won't be the worst team to watch anymore. I think they'll be pretty fun. And for the last team, we're going to talk about the Washington Wizards. I think this team's going to be really fun. I think Cam Whitmore was a great pickup. I think the fact that he's going to get more opportunity will make him look great. I think that young guys will kind of shine. I think Trey Johnson was an amazing pickup. I think he's going to be a great shooter. I'm pretty hopeful to see Alex Sarr's growth. And I'm really rooting for the previous draft class of 2024. They were talked so negatively of, and I'm just hoping that all of them succeed. This video was a pretty long one for me. I appreciate if you watch all the way through. Let me know if I can improve on anything. The improved mic quality I think helps a lot when I'm watching back through these videos. But if you think I should edit differently, or if you think I should add myself to these videos, I don't know. I'd have to buy a camera, so let's see. But thanks for all the love on these past few videos. I appreciated it, and I'll see you guys soon.